experience. But look at the prize on the other side. I wish I had somebody to talk to me here. Yeah, you will never understand what God is doing as you go up the mountain. But you'll see what he can work it out when he get on top of the mountain. God will provide himself exactly what we need. Then there's the readiness of proof. The text says in verse 9, and they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar and laid wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. Then verse 10 continues and says, and Abraham stretched his hand and took his knife to slay his son. You all know that story, don't you? It was not until the knife was raised and Abraham had fully proved his faith in God that God showed up and proved himself to Abraham. I'm through here now. In your own life, if you're not willing to follow God onto the mountain of testing, you can never really see what God can do. Problem with many of us are we stop before we get to the mountain, or we quit while we're going up the mountain. But it's the top of the mountain where you can really see God work it out in your life. Good evening, St. James. I'm done here now. If I had a little more time, I tell you, yeah, all you got to do is obey God. Put your faith in God and his word. Because God, already had worked it out for Abraham. There were some things in this text that we did not see. One thing you did not see was, just because it was hard for Abraham, God had a purpose. And so the third thing is you ought to know the readiness of proof. In everything God does, God has a purpose. And God's purpose was to prove Abraham. I can see Abraham that day. He done made it up to the mountain. He done laid the boy on the wood. He done lit the fire now. And I know Abraham, a praying man, probably lifted his eyes towards heaven and told the Lord, I'm ready now. It wasn't until Abraham's trembling hand, y'all see it, raising up that knife, got to the apex of Abraham's reach. Not until it started down that God said, stay your hand. All God wanted to do was for Abraham to obey his command to the fullest. not miss anything that he commanded him to do. Sometimes we miss out on what God has for our life when we only go part the way. Are y'all gonna help me in here? Yeah, we try to figure out, what we gonna do for God. Lord, I know you're asking this, but this is what I can do. I can do this, but I don't think I can do that other thing. And a lot of times we miss out on what God has for our lives because we don't commit fully unto the Word of God. I'm through St. James. Yeah. And look what he said here. Yes, stay your hand, Abraham. And all God was telling Abraham was, I saw you carry out this far. I know you did it this far. But let me tell you, Abraham, I got it from here on out. Is there a witness in here? Good evening, St. James. I'm finished here now. Yeah. When you're ready to be proved, God will sure be ready for you. I told you it was a lot of things that you didn't see. Yeah, and one of the things you didn't see was just as Abraham and Isaac was going over to one side. Yeah, stand right there, brother. Yeah, with every step Abraham and Isaac took going up that mountain, yeah, there was something happening on the other side that he could not see. Is there a witness in here? Every time he made a step, God was leading that old ram up the other side. Every time he moved closer to the altar, the old ram would move closer to his place. Is there a witness in here? And when he got to the top, look what transpired. Abraham tied Isaac up. Is there a witness? But God tied the ram up. Are y'all gonna help me in here? Good evening, thank you, my brother. God, yeah. But it was a prelude to our salvation. Is there a witness in here? The prelude was he knew we couldn't do it on our own. He knew Abraham's heart was breaking. He knew Abraham couldn't do it unless he had his faith in him. And he said, you know what? I won't put nobody else to what I put Abraham through. I'm going to send a sacrifice for myself. He sent Jesus of Calvary's hill. Is there a witness in here? On that cross, yeah, he was a sacrifice for all of us. Is there a witness in here? Good evening, St. James. But I'm so glad that I got my faith in him. If I did not have my faith in the Lord, I would have quit a long time ago. If I did not have my faith in God, the worst whisper I heard about me, I would have left it all alone. I'm glad I didn't quit because I had my faith in God. And with every step I take, God is already there. Good evening. Is there anybody in here? Do you have your faith in God? Is there anybody in here? Are you trusting in God? Is there anybody in here? Are you depending on God? If you're not ashamed to be a witness for him, you ought to open your mouth and give him the praise. Say yes. Say yeah. Yeah. Ain't he all right? Ain't he all right? Ain't he all right? Ain't he all right? I know he's all right.